a big part of the United States' success in this tournament has been their midfield, and a big part of that midfield success has been the play of Sam Coffey. The 25-year-old started and went the full 90 against Zambia, and then repeated that, starting and playing the full 90 against Germany. And earlier today, she made some time for us here at Futbol W from the United States camp in Marseille. Our next guest here on Futbol W is Sam Coffey. She joins us from US Women's National Team camp in France ahead of their game at the Olympics against Australia. But I'd be remiss, and I'll probably get yelled at here on Futbol W if I don't mention the fact that she went to Penn State like my co-host Ali Krieger. So Sam, welcome to the show. It is great to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's dive in a little bit on the Olympic experience. We've been hearing from some of your teammates, some of the guys on the men's team as well. It sounds like it's a little bit different from what most Olympians get in terms of opening ceremonies and all the rest of it. So what are you guys doing kind of inside the camp to feel like Olympians?
Yeah, I mean, I think opening ceremonies was definitely an interesting day. We put on the whole outfit, walked around the hotel, everybody's waving flags, obviously. It was a bit of a bummer to not be in Paris with the rest of Team USA, but it was really cool to still to celebrate here in whatever way we could. But I think our staff and the hotel is doing a great job at making the Olympic experience feel really special.
Can we talk about the fashion and the fits and all that? We have something on this show, Drippin' or Trippin'. It's kind of our fashion segment. You guys were looking great, but everybody had kind of their own different twist on how to pull off the outfit.
Yeah, everybody did have their own little twist. I definitely did not have my own. I think I wore like a pair of tube socks underneath the jeans. Some people threw in the beret. Some people tucked in the shirt. I obviously was one of those. Some people kind of tied it up. It's cool to see everybody's little twist on the whole Ralph Lauren experience. But it was, you grow up seeing opening ceremonies, watching all the Team USA athletes walk out in their Ralph Lauren gear. And so to even put it on for a team dinner was really special and fun.
I'm assuming a big part of the Olympic experience is also sharing it with the people you love, your family. You have a very interesting background for me as somebody who's in sports media and just had a kid. You have a father who's a sports writer, and I can only imagine, his experience now being at games like this and watching you. And I just wonder what that's like for you to share that with him and the rest of your family.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting to share this experience with my family, even if they weren't journalists, is incredibly special. But to know that this was an event my dad covered for 20, 30 years, and now he gets to come as a parent of an Olympian is really, really special. I was actually able to go to Torino with him in 2006 to watch the Winter Olympics, and it's one of my favorite childhood memories, just being able to watch him do his thing and getting to go to all the winter events and just be a part of this event that was so incredible, and to be inspired by that at such a young age was so cool, and definitely something I think that planted seeds in me from a really young age. So having them here has been so special. I think I have to remind them that they're here as family and not as journalists, or that there is no angle for them to be writing anything about this experience, but I just want them here as my family. But it's been really fun, and I'm really grateful that they're able to be here with me.
On the field, this is kind of your first major international tournament with the team. Can you describe what it's like to kind of step into this group at this level on the biggest stage that there is?
Yeah, I mean, it's been so fun. I think if there's one thing I think that people are noticing about this group is that we're having a ton of fun out there, and we're playing with joy, and we're clicking on all cylinders, and that's just been such a joy to step into. I think there's moments where it's easy to allow that to get too big or overwhelming, and in those moments I remind myself that it's still just soccer, and it's the game I know how to play and play well. And I think the support of the women around me has been really crucial in my being able to step into this position, as well as the support from our staff. So I feel really grateful to just have the team around me, lifting me up in the moments that I need and kind of giving me that encouragement, because this isn't somewhere I've been before, but I'm just doing my best to kind of lean into the adventure of it and accept that it is new, but it's exciting, and I'm just going to give it my all and do my best.
I'm sure even though it's not something you've done before or a place you've been before, it's something you've thought about for your whole life. So what's that feeling just before the whistle blows against Zambia in that opening game when you're about to kind of fulfill that lifelong dream?
Yeah, it's a hard one to put into words. I think I really wanted to go into that game, obviously as prepared as I possibly could be, but wanting to also take time to just acknowledge what was happening and take just full advantage of the moment and kind of take a second to like look up, look around, look at what's happening, and just like the gratitude that I have to be here, the gratitude for the people that have supported me and helped me get here, the love and support that I've been given along the way, and to kind of just take a moment to reflect on all the twists and turns that have led me to be on this field in Nice, about to play my first Olympic game. And that was an emotional experience, honestly, just being able to sing the national anthem, take a moment and just like let the moment soak in. And for me, I think that's when I'm playing my best soccer, is where I'm playing from a place of gratitude and joy and happiness. And that's what I've just been trying to do, and that's been my main goal, and I want to just continue to do that.
You mentioned those twists and turns. What's changed for you? How do we go from a year ago not being on the 23 to now not just being in a much smaller roster at 18 players, but being a starter on the national team? Like, what happened in those 12 months for you?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to kind of pinpoint one thing. I mean, that was obviously a really challenging experience to not be selected for the World Cup. And there was a lot of disappointment and emotion that came along with that. But I think I just was really faced with the decision kind of after that disappointment took place. Like, I could feel bad for myself and kind of let this be something that defined me, or I could use it and try to use it as fuel and motivation and a way that I could get even more specific and intentional about my training and my training environment, the things that I'm doing on and off the field. And that's ultimately what I decided to do. And I think that that was not linear. Like, it wasn't just this kind of upward journey of just being able to do that. There were a lot of ups and downs, but I think it ultimately has fostered even more belief in myself and what I can bring and what I can do. And I'm just on this journey of wanting to be my best self all the time, both as a player and a person. And I think that hardship was something that really forced myself to look in the mirror and reflect on a lot of different things. But it was a really pivotal moment for me, and one now looking back in retrospect that I'm grateful for. And I think the challenge has just really grown my resilience and has led me to so much growth and development.
Sam, I'm curious about those specifics. Like, what in your game, when you were being intentional, did you think you needed to improve on and then bear down on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was most of like the defensive side of the game. I was a college 10, a collegiate 10, so I think that side of the game is what wasn't always most natural for me. And so, when you think about playing at the highest level, I wanted to just really hone in on just all those defensive aspects of my game, being an aerial presence, being someone who can break up play, who can make big tackles. And it was something I felt like I was doing well within the league, but that still needed a lot of growth and a lot of development. And so even in my environment in Portland, I got really specific with the way my training looked like there, the things I was doing pre-training, post-training, sitting down with my coaching staff there and asking them to be specific, and the feedback they were giving me and the film we were watching and how we were analyzing games and how I could improve in these ways. And I think it's a testament to that and kind of the specificity of the training and the coaching that I received that allowed me to make big strides in that. And I'm nowhere close to still where I want to be. Again, I'm on this kind of continuous journey to mastery and excellence, and that's always, I think, what we're all on. And but for me, those pieces of the defensive side of the game are kind of the biggest ones I really wanted to improve, and I'm happy with how they have, and I just want to continue to get better with them.
You may be working towards mastery and excellence, but it looked pretty good against Germany. Let's talk about that midfield trio. You, Rose, Lindsay. What was working so well in that game? Because I think a lot of people came into this tournament saying that the Germans were contenders for a medal, maybe even for the gold medal, and maybe had questions about you guys as a team. And yet after that game, it's like the narrative has totally flipped. The U.S. is back, and there are big questions about Germany. So what do you think, from what a worked well standpoint, what do you think was the key to that game?
I think a lot worked well. I think our team is doing a really great job, though, of just controlling our own narrative and focusing on what we can control and kind of blocking out any outside noise that tells us we can't do something or that we're not contenders. Like, we know we're contenders, and we know how good we are and the talent that we have in this group. And the care and the love we have for each other, and we just want to continue to build on that and grow in that. I think, again, to your point, there was so much that was clicking and working in that game, and I think for me personally, that was like one of my favorite wins of my career. It just was electric, and it was a hard one to come down from, quite honestly, especially at a 9 p.m. kickoff. But I think as a midfield, I think we're really cohesive and we have great chemistry. Obviously, Rose and Lindsay have been here before, and they've been so great in kind of helping me come along and teaching me and offering me encouragement and support whenever I need it. But I think we just battled and we showed up to fight in every way for each other, both on and off the ball, and we were lethal on both sides of the ball. And I think that that's something that maybe has been missing from this team for some time, and I think Emma has been doing a great job in helping implement with us. I think we just were ready to go to war in every way possible during that game, and I think, it didn't matter if it was the first minute or the 90th, like we were going to finish the job and get the job done, and that's what we did. And so there's a lot of positives to take from that game, but it's still just one game and we still have so much more we want to do. So while it's a great step, we just want to continue to grow and move forward, and that again can start tomorrow against Australia.
Since you mentioned Emma Hayes, I do want to read you a quote. I'm sure you've seen it. Something she said about you. I think it's quite high praise. They don't make players like Sam Coffey anymore. We'll have to dig in another episode of Futbol W to exactly what she means by that. But quickly on Australia, I mean, what's a scouting report on this team after the 6-5 game against Zambia? Like, how do you approach this game?
Nothing is changing in our approach. I mean, this is just as important of a game as anyone we will play at these Olympics. I think, they obviously battled hard against Zambia, and I think any team that's down 5-2 and comes back to win is a team with a lot of grit and a lot of character, and that is something that we do not take lightly. Again, I think after a game like Germany, it's easy to kind of let the highs be too high, but I think a big focus for us is just staying steady, staying in the moment, enjoying the success that we experienced from that game, but then coming back together and being like, okay, this part of our journey is done, this page in the book is done, but we have another one come tomorrow, and we need to just focus on what's ahead. And so Australia is a very dangerous team, and again, I think what is even more important to know about them is kind of that DNA that they can be down 3 goals and still come back to win. That's something that we really need to take seriously, and I think tomorrow will be another great test and battle for us, and we're excited to get after it.
Sam Coffey, great to have you here on Futbol W. Thanks so much for the time, and good luck tomorrow against Australia.
Thank you so much for having me.
What a year it's been for Sam Coffey, who of course plays for the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. She's one of only 5 players that have appeared in every U.S. game so far here in 2024. And Ali, she's playing a position that has been of desperate need for years for this U.S. women's national team. How has she been able to fill it so quickly and so effectively here at the Olympic tournament?
Firstly, I'm such a proud Penn Stater. I think she's done so well with just the tools that she's been given and just navigating, just not making the team last summer, and then, applying the specifics that she was talking about in her interview to her game, and also giving, herself that credit to be able to understand she can perform well at this level and fight for that position in the 6, because it has been, taken by JJ for, many years, and obviously Andy Sullivan, who's played there brilliantly too in the past, and now she's kind of feeling that this is her moment, and she can kind of come into her own. And I have appreciated her game. I valued her, and in the way that she plays the game, the way that she gets in positions to receive the ball, to face forward, to break lines. You can see she's always trying to get in those pockets and in those spaces to be an option for the back line, which I value as a defender, to always look for the 6 just to bounce balls off of, or also just play through so that next ball can go forward immediately into the front 6. And she's done that so well. You can tell that she's playing with this confidence that I don't think last year I saw her play with. And now she's applying that confidence and that mentality to her game. And I think sometimes it's refreshing to see Lindsay and her kind of switch up the midfield at times during the game in different moments of the game situationally, where you can have a double six, so to speak, to keep that consistency in the midfield and, to keep that connection with the back line. And then when they do get into the attack and they can break free to go forward, you see Lindsay kind of break off and help into the attack with the front five. And so that's been really attractive to see too, kind of that interchange a little bit. But it's refreshing to hear her speak about, her position on the team and the support that she's received from other players in order to continue to perform really well like she has.
Yeah, I think when you look at the midfield success and you see Lindsay Horan doing great things closer to final third, you see Rose Lavelle having the opportunity to be creative in and around the final third, a lot of that comes down to Sam Coffey. We've had Lavelle in the midfield for a long time. We've had Horan in the midfield for a long time. It's never quite looked this good, so I think she's got to get a lot of the credit for that. I also want to give her some credit here, Ali, for some fashion-forward thinking. I got to get your thought on this. I'm actually very bitter at myself for not asking her this during the interview. She is, I think, the trendsetter when it comes to tucking the shirt in to the shorts on the women's national team. Where do you, Ali Krieger, fall on the tucked-in shirt?
I feel a little bit restrained when I play with a tucked-in shirt, so I definitely have had mine just free-flowing. I respect it. I think when you separate yourself and you just do what you want to do, what's most comfortable, whatever you can do to help yourself perform well, whatever that is, whether that's superstition or that's how you've always worn your uniform, so be it. I think she should just continue to do what she's been doing because she's been playing brilliantly with it tucked in. And I think she's definitely, setting the tone for other people to follow suit and how to, change it up a little bit and keep it fresh and, do something different from the rest of the crowd, which I respect.